And we are go.
Okay, so welcome to Pre-Popped, late night again. Yes. Oh yeah. We saw Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, and brought to us by Westview Cinema. Yes, thank you, Regal.
Regal.
Okay, so
Regal for life.
There are a couple different things that I want to touch on here, and then I'll probably go into more depth in my own review. I don't know about you.
Yep.
But one, this is completely original movie by a guy, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, by a guy who wrote a completely original game, and it was just that he wanted something new, right?
Well, it was written by Joseph Mechner, the guy that programmed, drew, and did all of the work for the very first Prince of Persia game back in the mid-'80s.
Right.
The guy that invented Prince of Persia.
And so this brings up my second point. It's based on a game. It's a movie based on a game, which, if anybody has ever seen any of the movies based on a game, they're infamous for being horribly awful.
Ugh, they're terrible.
Yes, they are like some of the worst movies ever made. Like, ever. Historically speaking. Well, as far as cinema goes into history.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one. And then my third one was going to be that this is like action adventure. This has got all kinds of epic drama, and there's all kinds of epic cinema, and epic casting, and epic. So, okay. I don't know, what are some of your first thoughts?
Alfred Molina is probably my favorite part of the whole film. He's this crazy ostrich gambler entrepreneur with...
Okay, my favorite line, he says something like, "Look at the ostrich. It is majestic and beautiful." And I was just like, yeah, that's not what I think of when I see an ostrich.
He was very, he was the quirky character. Because what I was saying before is this movie has a lot in common with the people that were behind the Pirates of the Caribbean. Which,
yeah, it's from the creators of the Pirates of the Caribbean,
yeah,
isn't
producers
it?
and stuff like that. So I was hoping that, something about the Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, above all else, was a fun film. And that's what I was hoping was going to be something that carried through the Prince of Persia.
I don't know, would you say overall it was fun?
It had moments of fun, but I think this movie had terrible pacing. Like...
It was too fast in some instances and too slow in others.
I think it really needed to be cut down. It didn't need to be as long as it did.
Well, see, I think they realized that, and then they tried to speed up some parts of it too much, and then it looked cartoonish.
Yeah, the set pieces were great. This is a very set-piecey film, and I mean, like, the things they took from Prince of Persia, like, of course it has the same name as a video game, which it has nothing in common with. But they have the dagger, the whole hourglass of time thing, which is in the old Xbox PS2 game. And other than that, it's the prince's love of jumping off stuff and swinging on stuff.
But you said, like, none of the characters or the storyline or anything else is the same.
That is a big bummer.
Location?
Well, someplace in Persia, but no. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time takes place inside of one castle.
Really?
Yeah. And the princess is a lot better in the game than it is in this.
Okay, let's explain what he thinks of better. The princess in the movie is not going to be very combative. I mean, she is, like, all about defending, but she is not one to attack or be good in any part of an attack. Although, in one scene, which I will not give away, she did do her job better than I expected.
Yeah, she knew how to do stuff.
This princess is not supposed to be combative.
Well, she was more of a damsel than I was expecting, and I'm not sure.
Well, of course she was a damsel.
Hold on, one thing, and my feelings for her might have more to do with the fact that I really hate that actress, and I'm hoping that 2010 is like the end of her decline. She was terrible.
What else has she been in?
She was in Clash of the Titans, which you had the charm of not seeing.
Oh.
She was terrible in Clash of the Titans.
Oh, I've not seen her in anything else, so she's totally new to me.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna talk a stuffy British voice seems to be her entire thing.
Well, but see, that was part of who the character was. I mean, the character. I don't want to give too much away of the character because that's part of the important part of the storyline. But she's, let's just say she is not meant to be any kind of warress or warrior, the female version of a warrior. She is supposed to be a protector, and therefore, and she's not even meant to be a protector that is like, you know, trained in any kind of combat.
Well, I just felt that she was
So-
annoying above all else. Like, that was.
See, I didn't get that impression at all. I think that's maybe more your feeling of the actress than really the character. And just because you feel that way about the actress doesn't mean she was actually this way this time.
Alrighty. Moving on. Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought it was okay. I thought he was pretty good.
He was the male lead, right?
Dude buffed up.
Yeah, why was his name Dustin? Isn't that really American sounding?
It's Dustin.
So?
It's not Dustin. It just sounds like Dustin. I think if you looked at it spelled out, it's probably a Persian name.
Who cares? It doesn't matter how it's spelled. If they say it one way, it sounds one way. It sounded so American.
Well, I think that's because everyone in this film was like white.
Well, not everyone.
Well, I know. All of the main characters in this film.
No, one of the brothers was not.
Which one?
The middle brother.
Yelling brother?
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't get a good read on him.
He seemed much more Arabic than the rest of them.
Yeah, but everyone else.
Yeah, but
Except
you
for
know.
Ben Kingsley, who can be any race at any time.
Ben Kingsley looked like he was Egyptian.
Ben Kingsley.
I was like,
Oh.
are you Egyptian? I don't know.
This continues my, if I ever see Ben Kingsley, I would assume, and just looking at Ben Kingsley, I think that fellow, like, if he walked into a room, if I were in a restaurant, I would get out because something bad is about to happen to somebody.
Okay.
He's
Well,
Ben
back to
Kingsley.
the movie. Okay, so the knife itself, or the dagger itself, and the, like,
I think they could have
going back in time. Well, they couldn't use it more. They didn't have enough sand.
They set up their whole thing where, like, where it's like, well, you can only do it for a minute. We've got 2 minutes worth of sand for this 2.5 hour long film.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where it's like there should have been time rewind, and the time rewind potion should have never run out. They should have had limits where it's like, oh great, well it's got like a 15-minute cooldown. Let's have some exposition. Because like that scene where there is a scene, well, one of the 3 scenes where he rewinds times, and this one involves snakes, was awesome. And if it had more of that, I would have been really more stoked.
That was pretty cool. I liked the movie magic of him rewinding time with the dagger, like the way it looked, the sand effect, how he faded in and out, how you could see things kind of rewind without it actually being like, you know, you hit the rewind and there are those lines on the screen, that kind of effect.
Yeah,
you
it was
know?
very, I mean, that was very Prince of Persia. Like, that's one of the things I wish they could have gone with, because in the Prince of Persia game, and not to be too much about the game, but the funny thing about the game was that if you ever died, you could then rewind time with the sands, and the prince would say in his, you know, preppy prince voice, he'd go, no, that's not how it happened. Like, he could, so having a scene where, like, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal accidentally tripped or something, and
That
then
would have
got
been
impaled.
corny and awful, though.
Oh, it would have been great. You just
No.
think that because it wasn't in the film.
Which I'm glad. I think they probably cut it because it was corny and awful.
I think there could have been a whole bunch of times where he could have gotten hurt and then rewound time, and that should have happened more.
Well, yeah, I can see if it had happened more and there were some more comical uses of it instead of it always being just a dire
Because every time they
reasons.
did it, like, there was a whole bunch of reverence for the sand. Like, if he's pulling out the sand, it's really serious. There should have been like a degree of like, all right, I can rewind time. Because like he blew all of the sand on the first scene with
Well,
the
but
show
if
that
he
the sand does that.
if there wasn't as much reverence given to rewinding time, why didn't he just rewind it in the first place and go back to before all of the devastation happened?
Well, could have still had the limit of where it can only take you back a minute. I mean, he didn't find out about that until after, like, a day after all the bads happened. All I'm saying is, like, they took the sand and the dagger really, really seriously, and I think there could have been an extra level of fun in this film that it just didn't seem to want to have. But that's my opinion.
I see. I think that I agree that there should have been more fun. Oh, we're 10 seconds over.
Oh, no. That means we have 7 seconds before we're over. All right,
Oh.
we're out. Read our reviews.
Okay, bye, guys.